Roberto Guerrero now on the course, ready for his 8th Indianapolis start. And my, that turned in speed almost.
It's a good team, and it's a fairy tale story from the start to the end. What Sam brought up about him being hurt and coming back now, it really looks like his head is finally back on really good.
Every lap, a new track record.
Now, isn't it just amazing what a washed-up driver can do?
Roberto Guerrero's pole in the 1992 Indy 500 was a great story. Not only was he regarded as one of the nicest people in auto racing, but he'd overcome so much just to get in the car. Guerrero's qualifying run was the most spectacular ever seen at Indianapolis up to that point, the first to break the 230-mile-per-hour mark. He clocked a 4-lap average of 232.482 miles per hour, a full 3 miles an hour faster than second place Eddie CHEEVER. Standing in the pits, Guerrero's car owner Kenny Bernstein knew something about going fast. Just 2 months earlier, Bernstein became the first drag racer to ever go 300 miles per hour in a quarter mile. For his record-breaking pole lap, Guerrero earned $130,000 in awards and a brand new Chevy van. His chief mechanic won $10,000 in a lawnmower. His pole was used in advertisements across the country. His engine constructor Buick celebrated the run on the pages of Sports Illustrated. His sponsor Quaker State, which he shared with teammate Jim Crawford, made TV commercials promoting the run.
Would you believe winning the pole at Indy at a record speed of over 232 miles per hour? Believe it. Would you believe the Quaker State Buick uses the same 20W50 Quaker State you buy off the shelf? Believe it. Quaker State is one tough motor oil. You better believe it.
But the prizes paled in comparison to Guerrero's opportunity to silence his critics and win at the track that had nearly taken his life twice in his career. In 1982, Guerrero became the first Colombian driver to start a Formula One Grand Prix. After 2 years in F1, his best finish was 8th at Hockenheim in 1982. In 1984, when Roberto moved to IndyCar, he immediately showed greatness at the Indy 500. As a rookie, he finished second to Rick Mears and was named Co-Rookie of the Year. He then came home third in 85 and fourth in 86, and in 1987 he nearly took the win and very nearly paid the ultimate price. On lap 130, Roberto struck a loose wheel off the car of Tony Bettenhausen Jr. The tire came just inches from striking a potentially fatal blow to Guerrero's head. Tragically, the impact still bounced the tire into the stands, where it killed a spectator. Roberto managed to continue, and when Mario Andretti fell out of the race with 22 laps to go, inherited the lead and seemingly the win. But when Guerrero came in for the final pit stop with 18 laps to go, the crew discovered that the wheel strike had damaged the clutch. The car stalled, and by the time the crew got it going, Al Unser had passed him to win his 4th Indy 500.
Roberto, had to be one of the biggest disappointments in your life. What did you think when you stalled that engine on pit road?
Well, obviously I wanted to die, and it's a shame, you know. I came in the pits and I couldn't get the car out of gear, so I knew we were having a little bit of trouble. I was hoping we get it done as soon as possible, and but when the car dropped, the engine just died, so...
Incredibly, another loose wheel would threaten Guerrero's life just 4 months later. During a 600-mile testing session at Indy, the left rear suspension broke and sent Roberto spinning into the wall. The right front wheel broke off, and this time struck Roberto in the head. Because of his massive head injuries, doctors gave him a 20% chance of surviving, and an even smaller chance of living a normal life. But he was saved by a risky new treatment offered by Dr. Stephen Alvey, who made him take near-toxic levels of barbiturates to reduce the swelling of his brain. The treatment worked, and Guerrero woke from a 17-day coma with no permanent injuries. He spent the next 4 months in rehabilitation, relearning to walk and speak English. He capped his miraculous recovery in the 1988 opener at Phoenix, where he finished runner-up to Mario Andretti.
Racing is something that's meant so much to me all my life that I think I would be a miserable person if I didn't race anymore. I just wouldn't be very happy at all. I don't know what I would do, so...
Memories of the testing accident came back to Guerrero in 1992. Just 6 days after he won the pole, Jovi Marcelo, a rookie from the Philippines, crashed hard in the same spot as Guerrero's testing accident. Marcelo, age 27, died in the crash. It was an inauspicious lead-up to the greatest spectacle in racing. But Guerrero's career was on the upswing after several more strange turns. He'd lost his ride in 1988, a year when he was almost sponsored by the Church of Scientology. In a 2016 Road and Track article by Marshall Pruitt, Guerrero and then team owner Vince Granatelli recalled how the church was trying to use Guerrero's recovery as evidence of divine providence. They even sent John Travolta to Roberto's house to get him involved with the church. Alarmed that the sponsor was trying to convert his driver to a new religion, Granatelli stepped in and ended the sponsorship, even though the church had offered to pay $750,000 per race. In 1989, Guerrero joined Alfa Romeo's new IndyCar program, only to struggle there for 2 years with unreliable engines. In 26 combined starts, he scored just a single top 5. He drifted from ride to ride in 1991 before Bernstein hired him over the summer. The Quaker State-sponsored team was only a part-time effort, and he'd be out of a job again until the team returned in 1993, but it was a far better offer than staying home. It could be forgiven if Guerrero was at all superstitious about the Indy 500. On top of his 2 near-fatal encounters, he was taken out on lap 1 in 1988, then on lap 24 in 1991.
To the inside, and perhaps Roberto Guerrero, very hard to tell.
In the days after his pole run, Guerrero persistently denied that he was worried about the potent Buick motor, which others believed was unreliable.
I think, Gary, that every 33 cars out there, we're all worried about reliability. I think the Buick has gotten to a point now where reliability-wise, we have as good a shot as anybody else.
Some of this may have been sour grapes. Rules at the time allowed their V6 to run more turbo boost than the other cars. Some in the garage said the extra boost made the Buick engine more likely to deliver a sudden burst of power to the rear tires. This is exactly what you want, unless the weather changes. Such was the case on Sunday, May 24th, when 4 80-degree days gave way to a cold and windy 500, 50-degree air temperature with a 30-degree wind chill. Everyone was worried about tire grip, but no one knew how soon it would rear its ugly head.
And the front row starts to roll away. One car in trouble. The 36 car, unbelievable. Roberto Guerrero, the pole sitter, in trouble. No indication why this could have happened at all. We're only on the second parade lap, not even to the pace lap, and Roberto Guerrero spins the car. Talk about his bad luck here, Sam Posey. It struck again.
On the second parade lap, as Guerrero warmed his tires down the backstretch, the number 36 car broke loose and seemingly threw itself into the inside wall. A TV audience of 37 million viewers saw the stunned look of a wife who nursed her husband through near-fatal injuries. They saw the disappointed face of a car owner who put all his effort into one race, and they heard from the driver who was still in disbelief.
Well, I keep hoping this is a dream or a nightmare, and I don't know if it is. You know, it was obviously with the cold weather, I was trying to warm the rear tires up, and I gave it a little bit too much, and it just swapped into me.
What was the emotional feeling, though, when it happened, when that car snapped around? What was the feeling in the gut?
Well, at that time, I was still hoping it was a nightmare, and I was going to wake up, and that's all. I mean, obviously very disappointed, but Roberto Guerrero will bounce back again.
On his injectors, he has a mono-valve injector, which is a single butterfly. I think what happened to him, they don't have any power until all of a sudden it hits because of the type of injector. And he was trying to get his tires warm because the track is cold. And he lit the tires up. Too much power, all of a sudden it spun.
Guerrero's crash was a preview for the rest of the day. The cold weather made the cars almost undrivable, with over a third of the field crashing, mostly in wrecks immediately after restarts. It also resulted in one of the closest finishes in 500 history, settled between Al Unser Jr. and Scott Goodyear. After sitting out the rest of 1992, Guerrero ran full-time for Bernstein in 1993, only to be released after 1 year. But his story did not end there. For one last time, Guerrero again put himself in position to win the Indy 500 in 1996. He led the most laps and was still in contention when a fuel hose jammed on the final pit stop, setting his car on fire. When the flames went out, he returned to the track and spun in the final corner. Incredibly, he still finished 5th. Guerrero's last attempt to qualify for the Indy 500 came in 2001. Statistics and stories show Guerrero is one of the best drivers to have never won Indy. His spin on the parade lap in 1992 is remembered as a bizarre moment in the race's history, but for the driver behind the wheel, it was the pinnacle of a career defined by bad luck.